You've mentioned Fluss as one of the announcements. I've been following the project for a while. I think you were the first person that I've heard about it from. Can you comment on how, talking to people, how was this received, and how do you see the impact?
Sure. And honestly, the reasons behind Fluss, right? They are solid. And there was a talk at the conference, something like seven deadly sins of data streaming from Yanis. And yeah, like you definitely agree with everything that's been said. You just keep nodding and yep, that makes sense. I've seen that. That exactly is a problem. And Fluss seems like a really good solution. But I have this sort of chicken and egg problem where, in order to use it, you have to migrate your existing workloads. Unless you're starting the company from scratch and you're very early and maybe you adopt Fluss at the beginning, but then you have sort of the data integration problem to figure out because Fluss still does not speak Kafka. And that's the biggest issue, I think. It's really much harder to migrate or adopt it because you basically have to go always through Flink or Payment Iceberg, like a few sort of built-in connectors that exist. And if I want to play with it, if I want to build a POC, it's going to be really hard without getting that sort of Kafka support, right? And so how do you get more adoption without letting people to easily migrate, right? Not entirely sure, but based on my conversations, it doesn't seem like Kafka protocol integration will even happen potentially, right? Because honestly, it's just so different, right? What you can do in Kafka and what you can do in Fluss, even things like schematized data sets and more tabular formats versus just raw bytes. Of course, you can bring the schema registry and sort of go through that, but at the protocol level, they're very, very different. And so I think it's a great project, and I really hope it's going to be more successful and sort of more popular and getting adopted more. But not having that easy Kafka migration path, I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, the way I see it is that it's not an alternative to Kafka, but maybe another stream storage solution for the analytical data stream specifically, because Kafka can get just different latency category, and it has this massive ecosystem. But the way I see the biggest value of Fluss is if you already have Flink pipelines that have massive state, then you can get a lot of benefit from that. And also if you are onboarding, especially if you are in Flink ecosystem right now, but as far as I know, Spark support is on the roadmap, and if it is delivered, then this would be huge, because this could serve as the general hot layer for the lake houses, right? And if you already are using Flink, then this is a natural way to build new latency sensitive data processing pipelines. And yeah, they have tiered storage with Iceberg right now. As far as I've explored it, it sounds really robust, and because they support both maintenance on the Fluss side and Flink, because if Flink is doing the compaction, and also they can work with external maintenance. So if you are running Dremio or Databricks or whatever, you can still using Iceberg. So the way I see it is, you can plug it in as a hot layer for the lake houses that are normally operating on batch mode. And yeah, right now only with Flink, right? But if Spark is supported, then this could really go mainstream.
Yeah, and it's a good point. Honestly, sort of an adjacent technology to Flink, right? Where maybe have a complex set of data pipelines, and you want to, what I call materialize your streams in certain data storage. But then if it's just that, why not put data into ClickHouse or even Postgres? Honestly, because if it's a subset of data, you can store a lot of data in Postgres nowadays if you use a managed service, right? And honestly, I think that's something that's been missing so far from the data streaming industry. Simple OLTP database can be a really powerful data sink, data destination, and sort of a companion to your data pipeline. And so, yeah, then you sort of start to compete with that, because adding a new technology just as a sort of a hot cache or like a derivative data store, that's always going to raise questions about the budget, about the investment. And then, as I said, why not just put the data into a faster database then? Yeah. So if you're not replacing Kafka completely. So still questions.